Hey guys, I'm Daisho, and I'm here bringing you some Magic, and today I'm here to play another draft. And we got ourselves a nice little pack of Magic Origins here. It's actually a pretty tough one. I'm not really sure where to where to start. There are a couple of different directions that I can go. Neither of them are particularly strong. I think Anchor to the Ether might just be the strongest card in the pack, but not by much, and it's kind of tough to start on just like a regular. It just doesn't, it's not an extremely high impact card, it's just a pretty efficient card. I don't know, it seems a little weird, but I mean, it is a good card. The other cards that I'm looking at are Anointer of Champions, a Crone Sergeant. I think Crone Sergeant's better than Boggart Brute, but they're both good, and those are really the only four that I would consider first picking. There are some other playable cards in the pack. I think I might just go with Anointer of Champions, but I could definitely see Anchor to the Ether being a slightly better card. Animus Awakening is not really something that I'm looking to do. I'm going to take the Anointer of Champions here, but I could definitely see a Crone Sergeant or Anchor to the Ether being higher picks. Well, after taking that, it's kind of easy to just see War Oracle and move in. I do like this card. It's really powerful. If your opponent can't get it off the table right away, it often just completely takes over the game. And outside of that, there are some other cards that are of similar power level, like Somberwald Alpha is okay. I mean, Firefield Elemental is fine. Not quite as good as either of these two. I think Somberwald Alpha is really the next best card, and then there's like Watercourser, Charging Griffin, Llanowar Empath, that kind of thing. Fiery Conclusion, I think, is in that realm. But War Oracle might just be the best card in the pack, and it's already in the color that I went with my first pick, so there's not really much consideration to going elsewhere. I do have to say that this card hasn't performed particularly well in the drafts that I've taken it, but I think that's more just due to variance because it's just gotten killed right away. But I do think that this is a pretty powerful card, and alright, not really sure why there's an Abbot of Carol Keep third pick here. I do like Timberpack Wolf, and honestly, I mean, the more that I've seen that card going around the table, the more that I kind of want to pick it up, especially early on in the first pack. But Abbot of Carol Keep is such a good card. It's great as a 2-drop. You can just play it as a 2/1 Prowess, which you'd probably play in most decks anyway. And if you can get it in the late game, then you can just drop it and have a really good chance of being able to draw a card. So I mean, this card is incredible. I don't know why I would go late. And it's also probably worth a couple of tickets or something like that, just because of how well it's been doing in mono red. Though I'm sure it was more expensive right after the Pro Tour. After last week's showing in San Diego, it really didn't do too well. So would not be surprised if it has decreased since then. But still, surprising that went so late. All right, so now this pack has two really strong green cards, and I think that both of these green cards are a full step above any of the other cards in this pack. I'm just going to take the Leaf Gilder because I'm going to favor a 2-drop over a 5-drop, even though I think Conclave Naturalist is incredible in this format. Even if you're just getting a Thopter, you're always going to get value out of it, but often enough you're just going to kill a suppression bond, so you're going to add a 4/4 to the table and give one of your other creatures haste, basically. So this card is so good, and I mean, it's worse against Claustrophobia, but still good. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Subterranean Scout is the only card in my colors that I would think of playing. I could pick up a Sigil of the Empty Throne since it's still really early on in the draft, and that's definitely reasonable and an interesting strategy, but I'm going to go with the Leaf Gilder here because I think that card is really good, and it would be hard to kind of pass up on it right now. Could be that pack was just strong in green, but it does lead me to believe that green is relatively open. I'm still going to take the Celestial Flare over the Dwynen's Elite. I do like Dwynen's Elite, and especially after I just took an elf in a Leaf Gilder. But I think by taking the Celestial Flare, I'm going to be able to kind of cut off white for the rest of the pack, and then cement myself as the white drafter, with nobody as a white drafter to 2 people to my left, hopefully. I haven't really let too much good white cards through. There was a couple. There was like a Charging Griffin in the first pack or something like that. So, or even in the second pack. So yeah, there's definitely some cards that have slipped through, but hopefully from now on I can kind of cut them off. And I think Celestial Flare is actually a better card than Dwynen's Elite, even though Dwynen's Elite is a good card. unless you're in green-black elves, in which case Dwynen's Lead is going to be better. Alright, there's a Lightning Javelin in this pack, so definitely I'm going to take that because it's the best card in the pack by a fair margin. I think Shambling Ghoul's good, but not nearly as good as Javelin. And if I don't go with this green switch, I mean there's no green cards in this pack that are of value, then I can start building out a nice little red-white deck here, so I'm happy to pick up a Lightning Javelin. Wouldn't be surprised if somebody said that they would pick Rune Servitor here, just because you can get an extra card out of it, and he's going to make your deck regardless, so if you're worried about making your playable count, especially if you're in two of the more hotly contested colors with red and white, then it would be reasonable to take a card that is definitely going to make your deck over a card that might not, because I might not end up in those colors. That being said, after taking the Lightning Javelin and seeing a 7th pick Citadel Castellan, I'm pretty happy to move in here into green-white. I already have a nice green card here. I've already got a couple of white cards, and if green-white's open, then I'm happy to be in it. I know that there are some people who are saying that it's not a great color combination, but I think it's fine. I think that a lot of the color combinations are pretty comparable in this format. I wouldn't mind a Grasp of the Hieromancer in my deck, especially if I have cards like Citadel Castellan, but for now I'm going to be happy enough to pick this card up. And I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to end up by the end of the draft, but for now I'm happy to pick that up. Okay, so here, choice between Llanowar Empath and Yeva's Force Mage. The Somberwald Alpha didn't table, or was that from the next pack? That was from the next pack, so we'll see. But it's probably not going to table. That card doesn't really table. Empath is a little bit of a better card, but I already have a 4-drop. I guess I already have a 3-drop too. Yeva's Force Mage is a little bit better when you're trying to get Renown guys through, but I think that Llanowar Empath is too much of a better card than Force Mage in general that I'm going to take it. Alright, well, I mean, I get a Force Mage anyway. Looks like green is kind of open at the table. Force Mage going this late. Last pack still had 2 green cards in it. There's a Caterpillar. Animus Awakening can go in a green-red deck that is taking advantage of having a lot of lands out. Not really too great, though. Anyway, I'm happy to pick up a Force Mage. Another Empath, an Enlightened Ascetic for the sideboard, or kind of the Fire Fiend Elemental to hedge. In terms of red-white, because there's little chance that I end up in red-green. It's not impossible, but I'll take another Empath. But I don't know how many more of these I'm happy to play. This is the only, well, yeah, this is the only playable card in the pack. Alright, so last like 5 cards in the pack where nobody had any playables in them. Anyway, I think I'm going to be in green-white here. It's not impossible that I kind of re-audible back into red, but I mean, I do have these 2 strong cards, including Lightning Javelin, which came a little bit late. But, I mean, Citadel Castellan coming 7th. Oh, that's awesome. Citadel Castellan coming 7th is a pretty good sign. So yeah, Fiery Impulse is a great card, but I get a Hanger Backwalker, and I'm sure that this is worth some money online. But I mean, there's no way that you ever pass this card. You have to have. I mean, there are so few cards that are even better than this in the format that it's just not even worth discussing. Anyway, this card is so good. It's incredible value. If it didn't have the ability that said when Hanger Backwalker dies, put 1/1 color, stop your token, blah blah onto the battlefield, I would still play this card and pick it very highly. And it does have that ability, so it's pretty insane. Oh yeah, I'm not even in red. What am I talking about? Fiery Impulse. But Wild Instincts would be a good pick. Alright. Another Fiery Impulse. There's a Gaia's Revenge in here. I'm going to take it, I think. But Elvish Visionary is a nice card to pick up. Probably not going to wield that. Grasp of the Hieromancer. I mean, I might wield one of these white cards. It's not impossible. Majoring Bully, Fiery Impulse. So red seems open from the left. That doesn't necessarily mean that I should be moving in. But yeah, I'm going to take this Gaia's Revenge here. Be happy about it. Alright, I'll take a Valerian Wardens. I don't mind this card at all. There's a couple of nice black cards in here, but I didn't see any black pack ones, so that's just my neighbor to my right getting rewarded for cutting me from black. And I mean, I was never even in contention to be in black, so yeah, I'm definitely going to take the Valerian Wardens over something like Charging Griffin, because this is a 3-drop And I already have 3 4-drops, so don't really need to be concerned with that. Nissa's Revelation is not really a playable card. Just doesn't do anything that I want to be doing in a game of Magic. I already have a 7-drop too, so it'd be really hard to get me to play multiple 7-drops in a deck, but alright. So here we have some choices. There's this Honored Hierarch, which I'm not sure, but I'm not convinced is a bad card. A War Oracle, Knight of the Pilgrim's Road, and Enshrouding Mist. I think War Oracle is the best of those, but I kind of do want to take one of these two because they're a lot better for my mana curve. At the same time, yeah, the only one that I could really see picking here would be Enshrouding Mist, but I'm going to take War Oracle just because it's a better card, but I'm not 100% sure. Enshrouding Mist might just be a better pick here. Or Honored Hierarch, to be honest. I mean, getting an early creature on line might be smarter. Or maybe I shouldn't even be trying to pick up double white cards just because I haven't seen that much white. But I think I'll see a good amount of white throughout the rest of this pack. And not much white in this pack. There is an Akron Jailer, which is not really a playable card. So I'm going to take this Wild Instincts. Don't have any removal yet other than the one Celestial Flare, so I'll be happy to pick this up. Alright, so I can either grab a Titanic Growth or an Evolving Wilds here. I think since I already have these 2 War Oracles and I'm looking to be a more green-centric deck, I'm going to pick up the Evolving Wilds. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a little bit higher value than a replaceable pump spell. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely be happy to play a couple of those in the deck. Let's see. How many Evolving Wilds do I really want in my 2-color deck? Probably 2, but is it better than taking kind of an aggressive creature? I don't really want a evasive creature on 3 in this deck. I'd rather, because most of my creatures are going to be going at my opponent instead of over, so it's a little bit contrary to the plan. That being said, it's not too bad to have a couple of ways to mix it up. Alright, I'll take the Orchard Spirit here, but I'm not sure it's better than Evolving Wilds, and I'd much rather have had the Titanic Growth. But there's no way I could have known that that was coming the next pick. So there's a white-black card and a green-blue card, so I'm half on either of those, but neither is really good in my deck. I mean, I'm not going to splash for either of them. There's an outside chance I could play heavy infantry, really outside, but you know, I'll pick up this guy for the sideboard. I think Yoked might be just a better sideboard card than Zendikar's Royal, but maybe Meteorite. Let's take Meteorite. And I do have a 7-drop. So far, we're really looking like we're not in white. I mean, I first picked this and I second picked this. The only reason why I'm sticking to white is because of the Citadel Castellan. But that could just be a mistake. It could be that white is not open. And I thought I would get a lot of white in this pack because I cut it pretty well in the first pack. But apparently that is not the case. So I could definitely still consider playing this red if I see some of those. A little bit, I probably shouldn't have taken that War Oracle. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should have. I'll take this Bloodlust. I think that's a pretty reasonable card. And a couple, I'm not going to play it in this kind of deck, but a couple of people were passing similar cards, so, or rather there were a couple more of these going around, so it's not too unreasonable for me to try and hate one of them so that they don't end up with enough to actually put them in their deck and kind of waste some of the people's picks by doing so. And I also have this heavy infantry which I can play. I have a decent amount of playables already, and all the cards in here without Meteorite are actually really strong, so I don't know. We'll see what we get towards the beginning of this pack, but all right. I mean, I'm just gonna open like expensive, very good for limited Magic cards. Then I'll take them. Another War Oracle, as well as the Suppression Bonds in this pack, which I would definitely miss the Suppression Bonds, but I'm definitely gonna take the Nissa, and I think that oh my God, I think that it will be very good for me. Definitely taking the 2-drop here. There are some other cards that I would play, Vryn Wingmare, Grasp of the Hieromancer, Lenore Empath, but I'm really light on 2s for now, so I'm going to take this 2-drop. even if it's not really good at doing combat on turn 2. So now I have my choice between the Sky Snare Spider and the Cleric of the Forward Order. Sky Snare Spider is a much better card. I'm just going to take the Cleric. Again, I really need to fill out that 2-drop slot. And it looks like I'm going to be in white, so may as well move in. Okay, so now it's kind of like, how far do I want to take this? Do I want to just pick up a Jorga's Invocation, or am I going to say yes to another 2-drop in Elvish Vision? I'm going to take the Invocation here. This card is really good, and it will be really good in my deck too, because I have a lot of creatures and not too many ways to get around. So just filling up the board with creatures and then playing an Invocation is a really good way to win some Magic games. Some games of Magic games. Okay, so now I need to decide between Shrouding Mist and Titanic Growth. And I think I'm going to take Enshrouding Mist. I'm ending up a little bit more white than I was, not than I was hoping, but then I thought I might end up being. I don't want to play that Meteorite. It might make the deck, but I don't want to play it. And I think that this card is enough better than Titanic Growth that I'd rather try and play it off of like 7 planes. Like, let's say I take this out, and maybe I do just take... I think I'm going to take the Titanic Growth, just because I'm not sure how many planes I'm even going to be playing, so this card is just going to be much more castable in most games, even though Enshrouding Mist is a little bit better. It's so bad, though, because I want to be playing enough planes that I can play 7. Yeah, okay. I want to be playing enough white cards that I can play 7 planes. I don't know if that's a good... I don't really know if that's good logic or not, but... I only have 4 drops. It's not an incredible amount, and Farika's Disciple is the only playable card in this pack outside of Alchemist Vial, but yeah, let's take it here. Put it in the... I mean, it'll make the deck, so it'll be good. Alright, I just need to table a couple of playable cards so that I can end up with a deck. Might have to throw the Meteorite in, but we'll see. I kind of am liking the look of the deck. There are a lot of really powerful cards in it, between Invocation, Hanger Backwalker, Guy's Revenge, even something like Citadel Castellan, and of course Nissa. All of those are really strong cards. But yeah, we'll see what else we get. It's super awkward to have Celestial Flare on white and Enshrouding Mist, and well, Anointer of Champions more reasonably, as well as these 2 white cards that are 2 white. So all those things make this deck a little bit awkward and decrease the power level of it. So I can either take an Animist's Awakening. Now that I have Nissa, it makes me want to do that a little bit more, but I think that I just don't bother with that that kind of extra weird planning stuff, and I'll just take a Mighty Leap, which will be a nice combat trick in a deck that sorely needs ways to interact with my opponent's creatures. Plus, it's another white spell, so we can reasonably play more white cards. I'll take this Auros's Champion. I'm not going to play an Oromancer or a Jayemdae Tome, so may as well hate the best card in the pack, as well as a possibility of playing it. You never know. There's weirder things have happened. Weirder things have happened, like tabling War Oracles. That's way too many 4-drops at this point. I only have 1 Leaf Gilder. If I had multiple Leaf Gilders, I'd be happier about it. But I'm going to take the card because it's really powerful. I'll take and play Grasp of the Hieromancer. And then I can pick up my Animist's Awakening. I don't think I'll ever want to play it, but I can pick it up. Another Grasp. I might actually play both of those. Titanic Growth Table, and now we need to just actually make some cuts, which is pretty sweet. Man, these 4-drops are really tough because I do like Llanowar Empath and its ability to draw cards, especially if I end up, because I don't think I'm cutting any of these creatures in this deck, so I'm playing a 17 creature deck. And this card is going to be basically just draw a card more often than not, plus it scries away my bad cards and gets me into my good stuff like my Hanger Backwalker and even Jorga's Invocation. I mean, I have a lot of really good cards in the back. I think I'm just going to end up cutting some of these bad, pumpy kind of cards. Like I have 3 pump spells and Grasp of the Hieromancers, and 2 Grasp of the Hieromancers plus a Celestial Flare. Maybe I do just cut the Celestial Flare. Oh, sorry about that. Dude, I could just cut the Celestial Flare. Maybe I need to cut one 4-drop. I can cut one Llanowar Empath. I do like the card in the deck, and I don't want to cut Farika's Disciple. Maybe I should cut one War Oracle, even though I think this is the best of my 4-drops, just because I have all this white stuff going on. Yeah, I'll cut a Farika's... No, not Farika's Disciple. So I meant I'll cut a Llanowar Empath. And then I need one more cut, so I'll cut one of these Grasps. Although Grasp is so good with War Oracle. I think it might be better than one of these pump spells. No, I'm not convinced about that. So if we sort by color, do I actually not even have that many more? Yeah, so I've got 12 green cards and 9 white cards. It's really not too bad. I can definitely do a nice little split here of, yeah, like an 8-8, and then play the Evolving Wilds as my 17th land. That sounds good. This deck has actually ended up pretty sweet. Let's do the converted mana cost thing again. So we've got one. I'm really happy I picked that Cleric of the Forward Order, by the way. I only have 4 2-drops, which is a little light considering I don't have any removal. So I can't really just stop my opponent from playing Topan Freeblade, and once he gets in, then it's just, okay, well, my opponent's got a big creature now for the rest of the game. So that's a little bit scary, but hopefully my just powerful creatures will be able to win the day. But yeah, let's submit this, and I will see you guys in the first round. Hey guys, here for round number 1 on the play, and this is not going to be a keepable hand. Chances that I get to my 4th land are just not likely enough, unless I draw Nissa in 1 land. So I think I'm going to have to throw this one back. Alright, this one's a lot better. Obviously the lands are worse, but I'm not as reliant on getting to 4 lands. I would like to draw planes, but I also do have my Hanger Backwalker, which not only can I play on turn 2, but also I can start pumping it up and actually getting some value out of my mana. So pretty happy to see that guy hanging around. Hanging around, get it. Hanger backing, walkering around. Alright, so he's got a Thornbow Archer. I'm going to play the Hanger Backwalker. I'm going to take a couple extra damage because of it, but by doing so, I get to start growing this guy a turn earlier. Since I'm playing a 2-drop next turn, I want to be able to play my 2-drop and pump this guy up in the same turn. So yeah, it's a little bit better to be able to do that here. Glad to see that my opponent doesn't have a Reeve Soul or something like that. But yeah, we're looking solid here. Got my Hanger Backwalker going on, got my Cleric out, both colors of mana. Hey, he's got a Planeswalker too. Interesting. What is going on? Okay. Did not think so. Alright, so now I need to make a decision. Do I want to just have my Hanger Backwalker grow to a... No. That decision was very easy to make. Playing this guy out and passing the turn. Okay, so I guess if he attacks the Thornbow Archer in there, then he can flip the Liliana, which isn't unreasonable at this point in the game. I need to read this card. I don't know exactly what it does. So whenever it dies, exile it, return to the battlefield, you get a 2/2. Each player discards a card, return a non-legendary creature, you get an emblem, blah blah blah. Okay. You got yourself a Somberwald Alpha, my friend. This is a good one. Okay. This is definitely going to the bottom. And I may as well leave this one on top since it's just basically a free card. But outside of that, let's shift the turn back. My opponent might get an attack in here with the alpha, but I'm still at 20 life, so I don't really need to be too concerned with that. I'd rather not trade the Farika's Disciple to allow him to flip Liliana here. That sucks. but at least I get my flyers out of it. Alright, drawing a plains there is nice. Can start attacking in the air here. And next turn, if I draw land, then I will get to kill Liliana. Unless he plays 2 creatures here. Or flips his Liliana. Okay. Alright, he's thinking of doing something here. If he attacks with Thornbow Archer, I'll just take it this turn. I hope he doesn't because... Oh, he's attacking with Sombral now. Yeah, that's fine. So, I mean, if I block, then I get to trade here. And then if I draw land for invocation, then I still get to kill Liliana and the zombie that it makes. I'll be okay taking 3 damage here. Did not draw the right thing. Okay. In that case, back to the skies with these dudes. And now with Orchard Spirit and Anointer of Champions, I actually have 5 flying power, so... I do lose my Jorga's Invocation if I let him flip the Liliana this turn, though. Which is probably not worth it. Shadows of the Past. I've really not been impressed with this card. I know some people have been saying that it's good, but really not impressed. So again, I could just give myself 1 more turn to draw the land, and I think that's what I'm going to do, just because I have War Oracle out, and it'll be such good value if I'm able to play the Invocation. No, but I did draw another War Oracle. Either way, I can start attacking here. You could just double block. That's okay. So do I need to pump this? No, because I'm still going to get to kill both of these, so I may as well pump a Thopter to get an extra damage through. I guess he gets to scry a lot, which is kind of bad for me. Just going to discard the Invocation here. It's because he could just make me discard next turn anyway. So I'd rather not have a card in my hand by the end of the turn. It could have been better for me to just... I forgot about the scrying on Shadows of the Past. It could have been a little bit better for me to just attack with my flyers, hit him for 5. See, what's he doing with these? He put it on top. So he only got 1 scry out of it, and it didn't actually impact the game in any way. Could have theoretically been better, but I'm not really sure what he takes with 1. It's a little bit strange, actually. I hope it's not Languish. But that seems like the only card that you would keep in this spot. What other card would be good enough? I don't know, maybe he knows his deck really well and he knows his outs. If it's Languish, then I lose the game, but keeping a War Oracle in my hand is not going to beat Shadows of the Past Liliana against the Languish anyway, so nothing to be concerned about. So the land was probably his last card in hand. He can just reanimate his Deadbridge Shaman if he wants with his Liliana. He can play his card and then make us both discard. I do like my position though. Okay, he's just going to get his card back. So yeah, that Liliana definitely wasn't that good for him. Might actually just be better for me to attack in the air and pump one of my Thopters this turn, just in case he has a removal spell. Oh, well, let's see. Oh, okay. So I think he's probably dead on board here. No, he's not. Oh my god. That guy's just going to get discarded, though. Okay, so I can attack on the ground with a bunch of guys, or I can just attack in the air. I'm just going to attack in the air so he can't use his Shadows of the Past. Well, let me think about this. So if I attack with my War Oracle, my Llanowar Empath, and the Cleric, then he's gonna double block the War Oracle with the Zombie and the Shaman, and just trade off with one of the ground guys. Otherwise he takes 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. So then he trades off with one of the ground guys, and he'll still take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he'll go down to 2, so then Shadows of the Past won't save him. So I think that it makes sense to just attack everything, except for the Anointer and the Farika's Disciple. Doesn't really matter that I lose the Guy's Revenge here. It's not like I'm going to be able to cast it this game anyway. Huh. It's a weird block. So I get to keep my War Oracle, but he doesn't take that much damage. And he gets 5 scries. So what did he keep last turn? He kept the Weight of the Underworld? Alright. That'd be funny if he bottoms every one of these scries. Bottom. 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 Well, he's thinking about this one. There aren't that many cards that keep him alive here. If my opponent had 5 mana up this turn, I probably would have just attacked with my flyers, because that means that he would be able to activate Shadows of the Past this turn and next turn, and he can kind of just get away from my my removal. Oh, he finally got one on top. Okay. So it's got to be a removal spell for the War Oracle. Well, that's not going to cut it. Alright, I guess that'll do it. Yeah, that's actually a really good draw. He gets to kill the Anointer, and oh, he's killing a Thopter. It doesn't make no sense. Doesn't make much sense though. So he can go back up to 7. Alright. Well, we kill him. That actually probably should have gone on the free. It doesn't matter. The game's actually just over. Okay, so game one, us. Opponent's playing a slow, grindy deck. Caustic Caterpillar seems very good against him. Llanowar Empath seems better against him than maybe... do like all my 2-drops in this matchup. Maybe I just don't want to... Well, man. I do want to play something like Gaia's Revenge because if I draw it in the late game, then it's really good. I don't love it because if my opponent gets a Deadbridge Shaman or a Liliana kind of thing going on, then it's not great for me. Alright, let's take out a War Oracle for this Llanowar Empath. And we can... And the reason why I do that is because I don't want to have a glut of 4-drops, even against this opponent. I mean, he did play a turn 1 Thornbow Archer, so he might be a little bit more aggressive than he kind of seemed to be. Celestial Flare doesn't seem great, but it doesn't seem horrible. I think I'd rather cut a Titanic Growth. Not sure, maybe Mighty Leap is worse, but I do like Mighty Leap because it can kind of finish him, and it seems like I might get into that kind of board where I really need to just play 1 card to finish him. Not sure that Grasp is better than Tactics in this matchup, but anyway, let's run that and see how it goes. I think my deck should be pretty good against my opponents. I just have a lot of really powerful spells in this deck. So it's a pretty decent hand. It's not great. I've got the Anointer and a 3-drop. I wish I had a 2-drop, but I just don't have too many of them in my deck. Can't necessarily cast the War Oracle on 4 even if I draw a land. It could be a forest or it could be a tapped land. Yeah, drawing a lot of 4s isn't great, especially because I haven't drawn my 4th land yet. But I like Wardens. Wish I had that. Actually, I mean, it's not like I would block the Elvish Visionary anyway. But it's good to have, especially because next turn I can attack, and maybe he'll like try and set up a double block or something like that. And I can get him with Enshrouding Mist. Enshrouding Mist is a lot worse when it's just all your mana for your turn, but either way, it's still good. So yeah, if he doesn't attack with this, then I am just very happy, because it means that I just get to eat one of his guys. Well, I could have been happier. I could just play the Empath anyway. What did he do with this? He revealed the Swamp. Why am I not paying attention to that? Put 2 cards on the bottom. Okay. Those are both likely to be lands, which should calculate some amount. Alright, so if I attack with Valerian Wardens, then he'll just double block. I could just pump my... I could just pump it, trade with the Orchard Spirit, and play a Llanowar Empath. And that seems pretty reasonable. Alternately, I can just play Llanowar Empath and then try and get to another land, and then next turn I can play Empath plus Enshrouding Mist. That seems a lot better. Alright, should I keep both lands or just one? Since I'm planning on playing an Empath next turn, I'm going to bottom one of these. And ship the turn. And it's not like I mean, I do want to get to 7 mana with Gaia's Revenge, but I don't know how much I really just want to draw land until then. But really, since the plan is to just play Llanowar Empath next turn, I don't really want to do that. Okay. So here, I'm just going to charge in with the Wardens, and we'll see what his block is. probably going to be a double block though, and I'll be able to 2-for-1 him. It's not really a 2-for-1. Because Deadbridge Shaman will make me discard. Probably just discard the Guy's Revenge here. Okay, do that, do that, do that. I'm just too far away from casting it for that to be worth it. Oh yes, Hangerback Walker. And then I can bottom this land since I don't need to get to 7 anymore. I would not be surprised to see my opponent just concede the game right now. Alright, he's got a wolf. 2 more cards in hand that I have to beat before the game's over. Alright, not a great draw. I am just going to attack with the team. With Anointer of Champions up, that's a good spot for me. Okay, let's just trade for Orchard Spirits? Orchard Spirits. I also get him for 4 damage here, but Valerian Wardens is not central to me winning this game. Since I saw my opponent play 2 Weight of the Underworlds, I'm going to go ahead, and I know I already have my 6th land, but I have it next turn and not this turn. I'm going to go ahead and play the War Oracle. I could have just kept this card around. I mean, attacking with these 2 is pretty much as good. I get to trade one of them off for the Orchard Spirit. Alright, here I can sack one of my Llanowar Empaths. It's not great for me, but... And there's the Way to the Underworld, so definitely very happy that my Hangerback Walker is sitting safely in my hand instead of dead in my graveyard and turning into 2 Thopters. And there's no real point in attacking. I have Jorga's Invocation in my deck, so I'd rather not attack than attack. I probably should have played the land out. But basically, Invocation means that I want as many creatures as possible alive, and trading isn't good for me. Plus, my opponent actually already has 4 creatures in his graveyard, so Shadows of the Past would be kind of bad for me. But Liliana sucks. I'm going to play the Caterpillar out, which is a little bit counterintuitive, but if Liliana flips, then I don't want to just have to discard. I guess I could have left the land and the Caterpillar in my hand. The land to protect the Wow, he just played it out. What? Into the face of Caustic Caterpillar? Oh, that is nuts. Alright, so he gets 1 drain out of it. And I guess he gets a Scry too, which isn't horrible. Looked like he was a little bit confused there for a second, but yeah, that's what ends up happening there. Alright, I mean, it's better to play out these lands than to hold them in my hand against a Liliana on board. I don't want to start attacking with this guy just yet. There's not really much risk, I don't think, that there's really any way for him to exile it or kind of stop it from doing its thing. No suppression bonds or or anything like that. That sucks, but what can you do? No suppression bombs, no claustrophobia. Alright, some more lands. Not great. But we're getting to the point soon where Hangerback Walker, if it just dies and turns into 6 flyers, then there's no real way that I can lose. But I'm pretty content to just keep doing this until he can't block it. And there's Wild Instincts. So he has 1 card in hand. I'm a little tempted to just do it on the Hangerback Walker, because even if he kills it in response, I still get 7 flyers, and I can just kill Liliana next turn. He has to have drawn a Cruel Revival or a Wild Hunger, or Unholy Hunger? Not Wild Hunger. I mean, I could also just do Wild Instincts here. If he just drew a land, he would probably hold it in hand too, though. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's pretty low risk. Okay. No point in attacking. Well, yeah, I may as well attack with it. I'd rather trade my Llanowar Empath for his Timberpack Wolf here. Because Timberpack Wolf can get bigger than Llanowar Empath, so it's a pretty simple reason, I know, but it makes sense. The good thing about this kind of race, though, is that Hangerback Walker can just stop attacking, and my opponent can never get through it. Plus, it's kind of like a storage guy. Grasp. Yeah, sure. Stops him from attacking if he bricks next turn. Because now he is on a 1-turn clock. So he can't attack with anything. He can't even chump. I mean, he has to chump, but he can't chump with just 1 creature. Which is pretty bad. So I have a feeling that my opponent just had 2 lands in his hand and he just drew 1, so he wanted to play 1 out. Oh, he's attacking with both. So maybe he does have a Wild Hunger. I'm like super greedy here. I think it's actually worth it. I'm just not going to attack here because I want that extra Thopter. And why would my opponent attack with both creatures if he didn't have a removal spell? But why wouldn't he kill it now? He's going to have to kill it eventually anyway. I don't know. I'll just attack next turn. Oh, you can kill it in response to that. That's smarter. Man, I'm drawing a lot of lands here. Alright, well, I'm going to attack now. I'm actually going to tap this guy, which is a little bit weird. Maybe I misplayed this. If I lose this game, that would be really bad. Okay, well, it gives me some insurance. Okay, so he had the Unholy Hunger, as I suspected. But yeah, so now I have 7 Thopters. It's probably worth just trading 1 off here. Even though it gives him an extra draw step because Celestial Flare is likely to be able to beat whatever draw step he has. Okay, so now that he played Might of the Masses, then I know that I win the game. That was kind of a crazy game. I'm not sure if I played that well, but nobody concedes the game like that and just when they have an extra draw step. So, I don't know. I think that I may have played that okay. But, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it looks like the next round's going to start any minute, so I'll see you guys soon. Hey guys, here for round number 2. Not quite a keepable hand here. 1 land, a bunch of 4-drops. Here we go. This is a little bit better. Kind of an interesting situation of what I should be doing on turn 1. And never mind, I figured it out. I was thinking that it might make sense to just play Evolving Wilds on turn 1 and Annoyer on turn 2 in case I drew a 2-drop. But since I can just play the 2-drop on turn 2 anyway, not a real decision. Alright, so we got a nice little setup going here. I can get my second white for the Celestial Flare. That's a little annoying. But yes, I can get my second white for the Celestial Flare, and I have a lot of spells that I can actually play. All my opponent did was play an evasive threat against me, even though I'm probably going to be faster than him this game, so not too much of a concern. Okay, Zendikar Incarnate would be bad if I didn't have Celestial Flare, but hopefully I draw land here. Alright, so that means that I can actually just trade 1 mana for Claire if he blocks here. Oh my god, that is so good for me. Get to Enshrouding Mist his 4-drop and follow up with a 3-drop. That was an incredible turn. I kind of screwed up, or not screwed up, but I didn't really have a great turn 2 there, but my turn 3 was extremely solid. I mean my turn 4 rather. Alright, and I drew both of my removal spells. Okay. My opponent might have a Fiery Impulse to kill that at end step. I figure that's what's going on here. Or he's just chump blocking. Okay. That would be bad if I weren't holding removal spells. Do what I've done every turn of this game so far, which is attack with all my guys. Alright, sir, you can go now, if you want to. Okay, you got Nissa's Revelation there, buddy. If I draw a land next turn, he's completely dead. Well, he put a card on top, so he found something that he kind of wants. Raging Bully, gain 2. Alright. Okay, so let me just think about this. If I play Wild Instincts, then I get to hit for 5, 6, 7, 8. No. But if I play Jorga's Invocation, then I get to hit for enough to kill him. I don't feel like letting my opponent untap here. Okay, that was a pretty easy game. It's not like I feel bad for revealing Jorga's Invocation because I have so many other bombs in this deck that it's unreal. I can't think of anything that I would want to bring in against this guy. Maybe another Grasp or something like that. But I think he's probably got Fiery Impulses in his deck, so that does not sound good to me. This hand is pretty bad. I'm thinking of just keeping it, though. If my opponent gets off to an aggressive start, then I'll be in pretty bad shape. This is a bad hand, though. I should definitely not keep it. Alright, well, we'll see what we got here. That is a good start. And my opponent not playing a 2-drop is an even better start. I mean, this guy just being a 3-mana 2/2 is fine here. Alright, he's got Orchard Spirit again. Ooh, Citadel Castellan, don't mind if I do. Backing up with Titanic Growth and Shrouding Mist, Yaeva's Force Mage. I am a-okay with that. If he plays Zendikars Incarnate here, oh, that's nothing. Might have Might of the Masses. So I'm just trying to decide here if I want to play Wardens or Force Mage. If I play Force Mage, he probably still has to just chump block. So let's do, well, if I play Wardens, he blocks, then I get an Enshrouding Mist. So then I for sure get to trade my 1-mana play for his 3-mana play. Really 4-mana play. And then I have Wardens and Castellan out for the next turn to attack. And I have Force Mage plus Titanic Growth. It sounds like a good situation for me as well. If he's got Might of the Masses, that's really not too bad for me, because I still get to just trade my Might of the Masses for his, for my Enshrouding Mist for his Might of the Masses. But yeah, now I have 2 Renowned creatures, Renowned 2 creatures, that is. Okay. This is a little bit dangerous. Not too dangerous. I'm just going to attack with the Castellan here, even though I have Titanic Growth. Because I get to draw a card, and my Castellan gets even big. Gets big enough to, well, I guess he can just Rogue's Passage his Rock Smaulers. Act of Treason. Uh-oh. Alright, well at least I get to eat the Rock Smaulers here. With Titanic Growth. The reason I block with that instead of the Force Mage is because even though he could have a Titanic Growth of his own, he could also have a Fiery Impulse. He had his Fiery Conclusion. Well, that's really bad. Alright, I'm not winning this game. So yeah, I just have to play Disciple here and trade. Oh, I can't even trade. I'm just dead. I mean, that's kind of brutal that he had Act of Treason plus Fiery Conclusion. I don't think I could have played around that. Yeah, there really was not much I could do about that particular situation. Alright, you got it. Well, Yeah, he's got it. Because he can just give his majoring bully unblockable. That was scary. Play Vine Snare? No, 4 or less. I don't like that. I could play like Meteorite to kill a 2/2 if that matters. Could matter. Alright. I need to watch out for Fiery Conclusion though. Alright, this hand is not great. But hopefully I'll draw 1 land early enough to get the Orchard Spirit online, and then at some point, whew. Okay, so now we just need to draw 1 land and we are set. Got good old Nissa online here. Well, not quite a land, but that'll work. So my opponent did not even consider trading his Leaf Yielder for my Cleric, which leads me to believe that he's got a 4-drop to play here that I'm not going to be too happy about. Oh, just Yeva's Force Mage. I can get behind that. Another forest isn't great for me. I think I'm going to actually leave this guy back to block here. There's Rock Maulers. Not my pal here. Alright, I'll have 5 mana. That's good to see. And I'm almost at my Gaia's Revenge, which is nice. Bogart Brute. Okay, so there's 2 reasons why he could have played that pre-combat. One is Might of the Masses. 2 is just bad play. It's probably Might of the Masses. I mean, if he's got Might of the Masses or Titanic Growth, then there's nothing I can actually do to block it here. Oh, this is so bad. Rock Maulers is just going to kill me. Alright, so I have my Gaia's Revenge next turn, which can actually stop that thing from murdering me. And then hopefully in a turn or so I can get Nissa online. Alright. I'm fine trading that, gaining some life in the deal. That guy comes out post-combat? Works for me. Disciple's an interesting draw. I think I'm just going to play Gaia's Revenge, though. I'm probably just dead next turn. Because if he's got Might of the Masses, ugh. I'll have to do some math. He didn't play it last turn. He could have gotten a nice 2-for-1 out of it. I think I might have to block with Nissa here. Alright, so if he's got Might of the Masses, then that'll give him +5 damage. Right now he's getting me for 3, down to 8, down to 3. And you can have double Pump Spell or Pump Spell plus... I think I'm just gonna block like that. Okay, so he has the Might of the Masses. I'm not dead. Alright, and now I just hopefully can draw a land here. Wow, what is he doing with these subterranean scouts? He's just losing out on damage. Alright, land, land. Alright. Now we can transform our Nissa. And I think I just want to make a 4/4. And put Grasp of the Hieromancer on it so that I can gain some more life. Oh, I could have played the Farika's Disciple out. That was a really bad mistake, huh? I thought that I only had 7 mana because Nissa gives me 7, but I forgot about the Leaf Kill. Oh my god. That was bad. Alright, so he's attacking me. And he's got to be my block. Okay, so I die. Because Fiery Conclusion is the best card in Magic history. Oh my god. I don't think that changes anything if I played out the Disciple that turn. Wow. I can't believe I lost. I don't think that there was anything I could have done differently. Him just accelerating into Rock Maulers was really good that game. My deck isn't very good at beating Rock Maulers because it doesn't have removal. So yeah, if I play the Farika's Disciple, then I still only have... I have the 4/4 guy. So I mean, I have to double block this thing to survive. And that means that I can't block both of those creatures. So, I mean, unless the top card of my library was a Celestial Flare. Does the draw card function not work anymore? I don't know. Unless the top card of my library was Celestial Flare, then I don't think I really stood a chance. Wow. If you just look at the card for card power level of the cards that I played that game versus my opponents, he has like a Might of the Masses and a Rune Servitor and a Yevas Force Mage, and I'm playing Nissa and War Oracles and Gaia's Revenge. And that was an impressive win. I just had nothing to do to beat a Rock Maulers there, really. Maybe at some point, I don't think I could have like quad blocked at any point. And even if I had, I would have gotten blown out by Fiery Conclusion. I'm not really sure if I could have played any better there. Maybe I should have been more aggressive. I don't think I could have done that either. I think I would have just lost if I had been more aggressive. Maybe I should have played the Farika's Disciple out earlier to trade. If I had played it out 2 turns ago, then I may have been able to win if I had played it out instead of the Gaia's Revenge. But I think yeah, so I could have played out the Farika's Disciple and double blocked the Rock Maulers. I don't know. It might have worked. Double block the Rock Mauler so I didn't die from damage, but then he has Fiery Conclusion plus Might of the Masses unless he just drew one of them. Wow. Okay. That was brutal. But yeah. I guess that'll happen sometimes. At least I ended up with a Nissa and a Hangerback Walker. I just think that my deck was a lot better than his, and I'm not sure how much he outplayed me versus how much his cards matched up better against mine. I may have made a lot of mistakes in that game and just not realized it, or in sideboarding, or something like that. I don't think I did, but maybe double blocking the Bogart Brute with the War Oracle was a mistake. I should have tried to pressure him with it instead, but that would have just traded anyway. Could have traded the Orchard Spirit. I could have not attacked with the Orchard Spirit that turn and traded Orchard Spirit plus, or I could have double blocked the Bogart Brute and then not had to lose one of them there. Not had to lose a War Oracle there. Been pressuring with that and kind of gaining some life back that way. A lot of different paths that I could have taken, and I don't know if any of them would have led me. It depends how long he had Might of the Masses or Fiery Conclusion in hand. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think about that game, if I should have played it any differently, if my opponent just got super lucky, if my opponent has a super awesome deck, I don't know, whatever you think I should have done differently. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy the video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.